Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Workshop. Yes, I have my Joe Daddy's Garage hat on, and that is because I'm really doing stuff for the garage, but I'm putting it on my workshop channel. Now, I've said before on this channel I'm going to try to do a variety of things, whether it's making stuff out of wood or welding or cutting up stuff, different things like that, and I think I've done a pretty good job of that. Now what brings me to today's video is the fact that I've been renovating the shop, and I've made some videos on this. I have finished out this wall over here. I put in, insulation, put up paneling, painted it, hung a bunch of my signage and stuff up, and I'm pretty happy with the results. Part of that renovation was moving this metal rack. Now this was over on this side of the shop against the wall and had all of my angle iron and square tubing and all kinds of scrap metal on it. And it was a great idea when I first started doing that. However, it just allowed me to accumulate all kinds of stuff in that area, and I'm tired of it. Now this rack, you can see, it's really just random. This was salvaged from something. I have no idea how I got a hold of this, what it came with, but I repurposed it. I've already cut it and modified it previously, but I want to do some more things to improve it. So in order to do that, I'm going to be using this, I'll show you in a minute, this Evolution saw that I have, and I'm going to cut up some metal and weld it onto that rack. Now the rack, the idea is that I can put square tubing and angle iron and bar stock and stuff like that, and I'm going to add something else to it, and I'll show you that in just a second as well. So let's take a look at the rack and what my plans are for this process. Now again, I have no idea what this thing was used for. Somebody had fabricated all of this on the bottom here. You can see they didn't even have it square, but I don't care. I'm just using that as a base anyway. I know I had cut off some pieces and welded on this upper half. Whoever, like I said, whoever did this was not very good at what they were doing, so this stuff is crooked as well. Again, I didn't do that. The only thing I've added to this, other than welding those seams there in the middle, is I've added this piece of square tubing, and I had a metal tray on here that just accumulated stuff. So the plan is, like I said, to make this a place for angle iron and square tubing and that sort of thing. So what I need to have as an end result is a way to keep material from sliding off. So just as a basic, I thought about putting this on top like that, but I give up an inch of area, and I also create a water cavity. If I put this out here on the end, weld that on, now I've got a nice little support. Back here, I'll probably have to put it upright and then cap these off so that I can stack stuff in between there. The other idea that I have is this. I picked this up at a scrap metal place. I did not steal it, and the guy at the scrap metal place had a couple hundred of these, and he ended up just saying, why don't you take one of those so you can do something with it? And I said, okay. Well, what I like about it is, first of all, it's a nice little shopping cart. These are, I think, normally used at like Kroger. But I like these baskets. And what I plan to do is remove this lower basket and mount it in between on this lower section. The idea being, small stuff like this, I could just put it in there, not worry about losing or having it fall through or be, out of the way somewhere else. So I'm going to salvage that lower basket at the minimum, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to take the upper one off just yet. I like the way this thing is. I may use it for something else later, but I know I can take off that lower basket and get it over there. What am I going to be using? This. This is the Evolution chop saw. Recently received this. I did a video on it on my other channel. It's on Joe Daddy's Garage. This thing is pretty fantastic. It is actually a 15-inch saw, but the blade that's on it is a 14-inch. Has all kinds of things you can do with the table. Has these standoffs to support material and stuff like that. So I'm going to use that to cut up material for the stand. Okay, so I have that cut loose, and like I was saying, this is going to go up inside of this opening. I will note that this is angled. It's hard to tell from this what I'm showing you here, but it's actually at a slight angle, so it dips down what would be the front. I'm not sure I'm going to worry about that just yet. I'll probably tack the upper section in place and try to level it out as much as I can. It's not that important. I don't think anything's going to really fall out of it. I will be using the Yeswelder. This is their multi-process first test MP200. I did a video on this for them on the other channel. I think I did it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do it yet. But anyway, I'm going to be using this welder, and basically turn it on. And what's cool about this setup, this new design they have, when you go to the home screen, you can select what you're going to be using. So I will be using the MIG. I'll select that, and then you can determine, over here you have some buttons that tell you what kind of gas you're welding. So if I hit this button, it lights that up. Hit it again, and I can select the type of welding gas I want to use, which is argon CO2. Up the top I can choose the steel, which in this case is regular steel. So I'll select that, and I'm going with 30 thousandths, so I'll select that. 2T or 4T, that's 2 touch or 4 touch. And then the thickness, and it gives you different gauge settings. I'm not sure exactly how thick this metal is. Whatever, I'm going to try, let's see, so you got 3/16 down below. It's not 3/16. I'll set it for 12 and we'll see how that works. It sets the amperage for you and the voltage, and you can tune that if you need to with this knob over here. And then that's going to be it. There's other things you can do. It's burn back. That's set up for how long you want the power to stay on the wire whenever you're welding. I have it at 0. I'm not going to worry about that. And then there's a pre-gas setting, or a memory setting, to where you can, if you like this setting, you can actually save it as one of your presets just by turning that dial. So I'm not going to just leave it on 1. All right. So I'm going to do I'm going to do a little bit of prep work, bearing the metal, and we'll see if I can't weld this together. Okay. All this just to tack it in place. Now I have the tack welds holding it in place. I can push this out a little and put a spacer in behind here, and that'll level out that basket. Probably about a 1-inch spacer would make it. Get a little piece here and see how it looks. Yeah, I'll adjust it, get pieces in there. Well, that was actually the first time I've used that welder, and it worked really well. Now, I did add my bracing under there, and I can tell you that basket's going to support at least 200 pounds. So that's a good thing. Now to get to work on the other parts. I have the basket on. I have some ideas for up here. The normal height on this is probably around 5 feet. I'm just kind of guessing right here. 4'7" is the height. Now what I want to do is create this upper space here where I can put square tubing. But I also kind of want to create a little bit of a roof, just to try to keep some of the moisture or water off of it from when it's raining. Now this will be underneath the overhang for my garage, so that's going to help some. But I have some scrap corrugated metal that I want to make a little roof out of. So I think what I'm going to do is come off the top here about somewhere around maybe 18 inches. Make two posts on the back at 18, and then come forward, and maybe the front ones will be, I don't know, 12 or 14, some sort of number that I'll come up with. And then I can have those posts and also have mount points for my little roof that I want to put on. So I've got some old rusty material here. I'm not concerned with saving it for anything in particular, but it's perfect for this because, hey, it's already rusty. So I'm going to cut up those pieces and start putting this together even more. So I'm going to be using this new Evolution chop saw. I really like the stand that it comes with because it has these extendable arms out here. You can stretch those out, tighten it down, and then adjust this to support your stock. So it has one on either side. You can stretch these out, tighten them up, and again adjust it up and down to where I can put some material. So just for this example, I'm going to use some, I believe it's 3/4 inch square tubing, and all I want to do is adjust the height here to get this in the right location so that it's making contact with the plate in the center, but it's also supported on each end. So I'm going to bring that down, and that's good. Tighten that up. Now this tool also has this extension on the end here. You can use it as a stop if you were wanting to make multiple cuts of the same thing. So what I mean is you can take this loose, set it up, put it on the outside, and have this butt into it, or you could put it on the inside and do the same thing. You can actually get a measurement if you wanted to from the blade to the end here, so you can preset it. So I might just try that. I know I'm going for 18 inches. I don't know if I have enough length there to make that happen. We'll find out. Oh yeah. So if I use the blade as a reference, I can adjust this around a little bit. There we go. So 18 inches. Ready to go. Now, the end of my tubing here is not square, so I'm going to cut off a little piece of that first and then move on from there. So that should be 18 inches. See if I got that in the frame there. Dead on. 18. Perfect. Now the plan here is I have these triangle magnets holding this upright. I put a level on it. I know this original frame is not square, so I'm just kind of sort of getting it close to where it needs to be. And I just want to tack weld this on and then get the other one on, of course. had a bit of a gap on that side because of how offset it is. Okay, so I'm being creative here. I decided I'm going to add another leg right here because I have those two on the other side. Even though I have the basket here, I still might put material up here. So I used this piece of square tubing on those two legs along with this one, and this gives me an idea of the angle that I need because I can just set this up against, take a Sharpie and trace it, and hopefully that gets me in the ballpark. Now I'm assuming this is a 45. I did not measure this with anything else, but I'm going to take, not this piece, I have another piece of material I've already measured, put it up in the saw with this line on it and cut it. Just so you know, I did take a combination square, laid it on there to make sure that the angle was a 45, and it is. So now I'm just going to make my cut. We'll see how it fits. That's a super nice cut. Alright, now that I have that cut, what I've done is I've taken these pieces of square tubing and I've clamped them to the other two pieces that I already had on here. And what that's going to do is give me my location that I need. So I can just put this up in place, make sure it's square, or at least square enough, and put some tack welds. I really have to admit, I love welding thick metal. So this is what I come up with. I can put different sizes of material on this level. I can put some on this level. I can even use the inside of this triangle right here. I did add those pieces to the front of these three legs, and just because I added that piece in the back, so if I have short pieces they won't fall off. Now the plan again is to put a top on this. Let me show you what I'm going to be using for that. So I have this. This is just a leftover handmade or homemade top that was on top of a dog kennel, and you can see it's got pressure treated wood that creates kind of a box, so it sat into the dog kennel on top. I only plan to use probably one piece of this, and this is just corrugated metal. Overlaps every it's like 3 feet. So I'm going to take this apart and just probably use this run right here, or whichever piece is best, and use the wood as well to make my mounting system. Okay, so what I have here is about 6 feet of length, and my stand I can make it however wide I really need to, but my space on the outside is about 7 feet 4 inches, somewhere in that range. So I'm going to use whatever wood is here and redesign this. Now this piece on the end has been kind of customized. I don't know what they were doing, why they cut it like that. to make it have that centerpiece. I don't know, but there's enough material here that I can just take this apart. I will use probably this full length of board for the front edge and that one for the back edge, and just shorten it up, because I'm only going to go with 36 inches of width. So that's roughly somewhere right about here is about 36 inches. So I'll just have to take this apart, salvage pieces and parts, and get it put back together. Okay, so I did that all on time lapse. I was kind of experimenting a little bit how I was going to build this, and it worked out pretty well. You can see I have that center rib there that is designed to interact with the verticals that I welded on, and then I put a little block of wood to help support that. Now I will add some screws through the wood into the steel to secure this, but just repurposing what I already have. I'm not worried about a few holes here and there in this metal. I can cover those with some silicone or something. Now the panel that I had, or the length, is 6 foot, so to make this work the way I wanted, and even this is debatable as to where I may end up with it, I had to overlap the two pieces, which is fine. You know, it was just scrap material anyway. So at this point, what I want to do is get some probably brush on Rust-Oleum and just paint this thing, and then I'll get it outside, and ideally the goal is to have it up on cinder blocks. So I'll have maybe 6 total, and that'll elevate it, you know, what, 8 inches. So right now this is about just a little about eye height for me where this is. So 8 inches will put it up higher and get it out of my way. I think this is going to be great. You know, I've been wanting to get something like this together for a while, and now I have it. So I'm going to get it painted up and try to get it outside. Well, you know, the default color for most stuff is black, right? And I know the roof is red. I don't really care. However, I went by Lowe's, and they had this damaged can for $2.50. This is normally a $12 can of Rust-Oleum. $2.50. It looks like it's going to be gloss royal blue. So if anybody had gloss royal blue, you can claim your prize. Well, there it is. I did get the paint on it, of course, and I've sorted out some of the metal that I want to keep. I know the shadow's not helping right there. So I can put up, you know, 6 or 7 foot length of steel. This worked out really well, having this angle. And a lot of this was pre-existing, you know, I just kind of modified it the way I wanted it. And my basket holding little pieces. And of course it's close to right up against the shop. So I think this is going to work great. Now I have freed up some more space inside the shop, which is what I was hoping for. I still have to get rid of some other things out here. This stuff is going to be going away very soon. So there it is. All right, hope you enjoyed watching that happen. You know, I'm really kind of excited to have that stuff outside now, because it's cluttered up my space in here for quite some time, and I'm happy about that. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a comment on this video. Let me know what you think about it. Leave a thumbs up. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.